Hello, and welcome to our podcast. Tonight, we're dissecting the landmark Tucker Carlson and Sam Altman interview from September 11th, 2025. In it, the CEO of OpenAI made a startling confession. He admitted, in his own words, "I haven't had a good night of sleep since ChatGPT launched." What exactly is keeping the godfather of AI awake at night? In that conversation, to illustrate the moral weight he carries, Altman made a chilling, on-the-spot calculation. He noted that worldwide, there are about 15,000 suicides per week, and roughly 10% of the world's population interacts with ChatGPT. And here's what he said. That's like 1,500 people a week that are talking, assuming this is right, and still committing suicide at the end of it. We probably didn't save their lives. He reflected with anguish, saying, maybe we could have said something better. Maybe we could have been more proactive. This unverified, yet massive possibility has become one of the sources of his insomnia. However, it's not just moral pressure keeping Altman awake. A suspicious death hangs like a cloud over him. An individual who had accused OpenAI of copyright violations was later found dead in his apartment, with the official ruling being suicide. But Tucker Carlson confronted him with a series of troubling details: a cut surveillance wire, a wig not belonging to the deceased, and a fresh takeout order. Most critically, the deceased's mother publicly alleges he was murdered on Altman's orders. When asked about the man's identity, Altman's answer complicated matters further. He clarified, and I'm reading his words, "This is someone that worked at OpenAI for a very long time." He admitted that when he first heard the news, he said it sounded very suspicious to me, but that later reports changed his mind and led him to believe the official conclusion. This shift in perspective only adds to the mystery. Externally, Altman is also fighting a very public war with another tech titan, Elon Musk. Altman once described Musk as a great jewel of humanity, but that relationship has completely fractured. Altman recounted how Musk, when leaving OpenAI, told them they had a 0% chance of success. But after ChatGPT's explosive debut, Altman reflected, "I think he got understandably upset." Since then, Musk has launched competing projects, filed lawsuits, and attempted to slow OpenAI's progress. Altman's final assessment of his former hero? He put it bluntly, no longer a jewel of humanity. This brings us to the core issue of the interview. Who is programming AI's moral code? Altman was candid, admitting his ethical framework comes from his personal upbringing, his family, his community, his school, and his religion. Carlson noted sharply that historically, moral codes like the Code of Hammurabi were always written with reference to a higher power. He then asked Altman directly, "Do you believe in God?" Altman's answer perfectly captures the spiritual dilemma of our modern age. He responded, "I believe there is something bigger going on than you can be explained by physics," and added, "It does not feel like a spontaneous accident." But then he admitted, no, not really, when asked if he had ever felt communication from that higher force. And that is the heart of the matter. For the first time in history, a tool with immense moral authority, one that could reshape civilization, is in the hands of a mortal who admits he cannot receive divine authorization. His authority is purely personal. This framework is therefore filled with complexities, such as how it might guide a user on the ultimate question of suicide differently based on their country's laws, offering to present the whole option space in certain situations. If you think AI's morality is a distant problem, this next point affects every one of us. Altman confirmed it himself. The government, through legal processes like a subpoena, can get a full transcript of your conversations with ChatGPT. That's right. Your chats with an AI do not have the privilege that protects your conversations with a doctor or a lawyer. Altman stated he is lobbying in Washington for what he calls AI privilege. But for now, that protection does not exist. Your most private thoughts could be laid bare in a legal proceeding. This conversation between Tucker Carlson and Altman reveals something far beyond the personal struggles of one CEO. It serves as a microcosm of our era and a resounding alarm bell. For the first time in history, the speed at which we create our tools has far outpaced our ability to build the ethical frameworks and philosophical consensus to manage them. The issues that surface in this conversation, the confusion over the value of life, the ambiguity of power, the lack of privacy, are not technical bugs. They are the inevitable fractures that appear when revolutionary technology collides with our existing moral systems. Sam Altman's insomnia is perhaps symbolic of this profound paradox. We are building a tool with near godlike capabilities, yet we, its creators, remain undeniably mortal, with all our mortal biases, confusions, and limitations. Therefore, the ultimate question isn't whether we should trust a single CEO. It's whether we as a species are ready to wield the power technology has given us. Can our wisdom catch up to the frantic pace of our own capabilities? Thank you for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest episode.